Hello, my soccer universe, and welcome to this week's Serie A review. I have actually decided to this time wear an Italy jersey to just celebrate the crazy weekend in Serie A. I had kind of a little bit of a cock up, but I have to say the real reason is because the only two jerseys that would be worth wearing would be Juve and Inter, and then I only have one of these two teams. And I didn't want to take them off the wall either. When I look at this wall, I mean, I have to say it's still of my backgrounds, probably still my favorite, although it is very blue around here-ish. And I think I put in the Parma jersey, although it goes over a few of the pictures there, to add a little bit of spice. I know what this jersey wall would need. It's a Sassuolo, I think, is sorely needed to add a little bit of green. It would not help if Fiorentina is a little bit better to add a different color than just blue, red, white, and a little bit of yellow there. And to be honest, it would be nice to have Chievo back. Unfortunately, as we'll see, I will lose most likely these two jerseys for next season Serie A background. And what's come, just briefly, we get another blue team in Empoli, most likely getting up. Lecce probably will add a little bit of touch of color, would be interesting to have. I'm actually really hoping for Venezia, and Chievo has an outside chance, so yeah, but I'm definitely more Hellas than Chievo. We're not talking about Serie B here, we talk about Serie A. We had a pretty big week, and I just had the pleasure of watching all the highlights of all the games that have been happening since we made our last video. I watched two games live, and the biggest one of those was definitely the Wednesday game. What a prelude to the Champions League, actually, with Juve playing at home to Napoli. The game that seemingly never was to be played. Juve got somewhat impressive and, more importantly, big 2-1 win over Napoli in that one. At the same time, Inter also got a 2-1 win, and basically that puts Inter definitely now. We have saying for 1 or 2 weeks Inter are champions already. They just have to see it out, but I think everything points to being Inter ending Juve's reign, and I really hope it's a transition like it was from Inter to Inter, then 1 year Milan, then the Juve dynasty. I hope now it goes 1 year Inter, and then there comes the Milan dynasty. That is at least my hope, but all remains to be seen. All that. In any case, that, as I said, those two results made the Champions League race really, really tight. And then there were so many games this weekend where you really thought that any of the Champions League contenders might drop points. Realistically, none did. Milan probably had the safest win, was not impressive, but they got it. And I was really hoping that we will see at least, Napoli dropping points against Sampdoria, or Roma, Bologna, Lazio against Hellas. All these teams where I would say, it's not inconceivable, and also would ease my nerves a little bit in this top 4 battle. But nope, that top 4 battle is totally on. And what's even more is we have a lot of head-to-heads still coming our way. Let's talk about the games. I will say a little bit to, I think, every thing. Juve, Napoli. I have to say loads of credit of how Juve played, especially in the first half. This was really, really the Juve that we would expect. And I see a little bit of a pattern emerging that against teams that play open, like Napoli, like Milan, Juve can play actually quite well. That suits them very well, that it's not as tight in the middle of the park or in defense. And then Juve, especially through Chiesa, who has been outstanding. That has been an outstanding signing, and I was so hoping that he will join Milan. Then I was kind of convinced by some that this was not necessary. No, Chiesa, excellent signing by Juventus, and I think he's the future. The past is a little bit of Ronaldo starting. I mean, he had a big miss. I think the 7th minute he makes the first goal after a nice Chiesa assist. And I actually think that Juve should have probably added a second goal there. Napoli really hanging on. They only in the second half. The game opens up and then Napoli was really pressing. However, also not too convincing. They made, however, two interesting changes by putting then Osimhen in to give a little bit more physical presence up front. Also with Politano coming out, that really put the Juve on the back foot. But then the COVID party boys, McKennie and Dybala came on, and they just were a little bit on and were already instrumental. Dybala, in typical Dybala fashion, makes it 2-0, and at that point it was clear that Juve is gonna win this one. However, there was one more up the sleeve for Gattuso, who brings on Petagna, even more physical presence up top, and they can then draw a penalty that Insigne converts, which could be an important goal because now the head-to-head goes to Napoli, having won the first leg 1-0. Napoli can have an equalizer, and Juve overall the deserved winner in that one. Inter, do what is necessary to be done to win. It's not glorious or whatever. A rare headed goal by Lukaku in the 10th. Lautaro Martinez, again assisted by Lukaku, makes it 2-0. Really nice goal to make the score a little bit tight. 85th through Traoré, but there is no equalizer for Sassuolo. Inter rolling on. And so for the first time this season, since the early season, we had almost an even table. We had only Lazio against Torino still left to be played. So yeah, you never have it even in the Serie A. But Inter flying high. And then top four, Milan, Juve, Atalanta, Napoli took a little bit of a knock there, but stay in there. But that definitely also took also some chance from Lazio. Roma, who definitely would have hoped for a draw there. So yeah, it was rather tight. Milan 60, Juve 59, Atalanta 58, and Napoli 56. That's 4 points, and that's a little bit too tight for me feeling comfortable about Milan's chances. Going into the weekend, we started out with a crazy one between Spezia and Crotone, especially the finish. Crotone had the lead in the 40th minute. That Verde, the guy who scored this wonderful goal against Lazio, could equalize in the 63rd. Then seemingly won it for Crotone in the 78th. Maggiore in the 89th makes an equalizer, and then Erlich in the 92nd gets the win. They turn it around in 3 minutes. Absolutely crazy game. Parma Milan. I have to say, the way it started out, Milan played really well. Exactly what I want to see from Milan. High press, quick passes, nice moves. Ibrahimovic being really instrumental in the build-up play. The way he assisted the first goal by Rebic, a great pass, and then how Rebic shoots it up at the corner was a beautiful goal. Or in the 8th minute. Then the pressure subsided a little bit, and just when you thought Parma could get back into the game, Milan finds the strength for the second wave, and the second goal also really nicely played. I mean, Kessie should have had one more maybe before, but then again, Ibrahimovic, Hernandez, and Kessie, who was playing a centre forward at that point, combined to make it 2-0 for Milan at the half, and I was feeling comfy. And Milan, I did not expect much. I thought Milan should see this out now in a way. The problem is, as far as I know, the referee had a little bit sensitive spot, misunderstood Ibrahimovic and sent him off for that. He said this is a little bit a strange decision. Referee understood a little bit something different. Maresca. I mean, the players have been yelling at him, Maresca! All the way. I mean, both teams. It was kind of, he is the butt of the jokes. The problem then was that Milan really just retreated. The exchanges then made were probably smart by giving it a little bit more physicality, by bringing Daladon, by bringing Mete on, Krunic, also Gabia. It's less of the finesse but more of grit. However, Parma really pulled on, especially in the last 2 minutes of power play. They got a goal back already in the 66, so just a few minutes after the red card. And I was really a little bit worried overall. But Milan kept it most of the time at bay, could clear the things. Yes, Donnarumma had to make a few saves. But overall, I thought, they might as well just hang on. Then I think there was this 16-year Traoré coming out who had a pretty big chance, but then also in stoppage time spills it to Dalot, who then runs counter, and Leao, who had come on just a little bit earlier, converts it, makes it 3-1, and very late on seals the deal for Milan. As I said, it was a little bit more nervy than I had hoped for. But yeah, a win is a win, and against Parma, and it really hurts to say because I do like Parma. Parma is one of the teams that I really would like to have in Serie A, but Parma is in high danger of getting relegated there. In the evening, Torino gets a very big win against Udinese. The goal scored in the 61st by a Belotti penalty. I think Torino overall the slightly better team. Weird jersey matchup, though, I have to say. I really wonder why Torino could not have played in a red one or the white. Yeah, whatever. But have to vary other choices. Another unspectacular win by Inter, who need a lot of time against a Cagliari side that really is fighting similar to Parma for the points. And again, Cagliari is one of those teams that I think just belong in Serie A. And I have a colleague who is a diehard Cagliari fan. I think he will. I have not seen him due to COVID in a long time. He will not feel happy about that as well. Oh, of course, Inter gets the goal very late. I think Cagliari would have deserved a point out of that one. Juve used their newfound momentum in a 3-1 win over Genoa. Ronaldo this time not scoring again, missing chances, and it's a little bit of a theme. I actually have to have a feeling Ronaldo's time has come. Either he is not very happy at Juve at the moment, he is really a little bit declining, or he might be just that he's a little bit off form. I mean, he's such a Galactico that, this can happen. So I don't want to make a big deal of it, but I have a feeling at the moment Ronaldo is not in his top shape. Juve get earlier goal through Kulusevski. Then the Morata goal was all Chiesa, who runs the entirety of the field almost. I mean, half the field. Takes a shot that is parried. Then Ronaldo, the rebound onto the post from a very short distance, and then it goes to Morata, who puts in it in the 22nd. You think everything is clear. However, Genoa is a little bit Juve's bogey team, so I was actually hoping that they get something out of there. And Scamacca in the 49th pulls one back, and then Genoa was a little bit pressing. But if you can bring on a McKennie and a Dybala, you're always fine. And again, within a few minutes, one of those makes the goal. It's this time McKennie who makes it 3-1, and everything is put to bed. I really have to say I like those Genoa third jerseys. They look quite nice. Sampdoria Napoli. That was also one where I thought Napoli just had lost to Juve. Now you could really actually... Sampdoria had played well at Milan until they decided to give Milan a chance. So I really thought they could do something against Napoli too, with a whole week to prepare, and so when Napoli had this tough game. However, Fabian Ruiz gets the 1-0 for Napoli, who were largely the better team in the first half. Sampdoria though fights back, seemingly got the equalizer, but if you look how Thorspe is pushing Koulibaly down, it is pretty clear that the goal should not count. And then Osimhen decides the game late on, and pretty big win for Napoli. Also a late win through a Milinkovic-Savic header for Lazio in, I think it's stoppage time. It was in 92nd minute. Yeah, the header goal disallowed through Caicedo. I think Immobile even hit the post early on. So yeah, I think overall the win was deserved. Another team where I thought they had a pretty rough, although a successful game midweek, was Roma against Bologna. And Bologna is one of those sides that really can hurt a team that is not on the top on a given day. And Bologna had chances and probably should have taken the lead. And Roma with probably all the chances in the first half, where Ibanez intercepts at midfield, and suddenly it's a counter attack where Majoral then can free on a goalie and chips it nicely over, makes it 1-0. Bologna cannot find an equalizer, and Roma hangs on to a win. And so it continues. Everyone keeps winning. And so is also Atalanta. And that's due to really shambolic defending by Fiorentina in the first half. Marinovsky twice sets up Zapata, the first one ahead of the second one. You have to see this. I think Fiorentina is still stunned that there's no foul given when Vlahovic attacks. And then there's the counter attack, and there are 4 Atalanta players, and the entire Fiorentina defense is just standing there. No one is closing in on the ball carrier or closing down any of the defenders. It's like they're standing there like sticks. And so Zapata, a really nice pass by Malinowski, not an offside. Everyone immediately raises the hand, makes it 2-0. And the game is well on the way to be another rout for Atalanta or Fiorentina. However, Fiorentina does have some fight in them. And within 10 minutes, they can equalize twice Vlahovic. And then they shoot themselves in the foot by giving up a penalty that Ilicic, goalie, almost had it, slams home right down the center. And so Atalanta gets a win, and that really broke Fiorentina, who just had the momentum, and that, similar to what happened to Köln yesterday, that goal really broke Fiorentina, and could have been then 4-2 for Atalanta as well. We have a Monday night game, but I decided to do the video now, because honestly, Benevento Sassuolo will not have that many implications. So looking at the standings, the only movement is, and part of it is because Benevento has not played yet, is down there where Spezia leapfrogs over Fiorentina and Benevento at the moment. However, a win for Benevento or Sassuolo would see them back up top. As I said, everyone that is in contention for one of the top spots through from 1 to 7 won, which does not make things easier. Atalanta, though, had a good enough performance that their rating also increased. And so they are now the favorites to kind of finish in this final 4 spot, and then Milan and Juve. Napoli still give an outside chance, although they have a little bit of a hard way to climb back. And I have to say, all 3 of them, Milan, Juve, and Napoli, I would have to say talent-wise, it's Napoli and Juve. However, Milan has a few points in hand. All these teams are prone to drop points at any given time. Relegation also, the picture is pretty clear. Cagliari has already 5 points behind Torino, and Torino has a game against Lazio in hand, which is not a must win, but still the 5 points is a pretty tall order, I have to say. Just briefly adjusting the table, which would see Sassuolo go ahead of Verona and Benevento ahead of Fiorentina, but this isn't the current when we adjust by games played. We have to see where the results go, and expected standings. Atalanta, Milan, Juve at the moment are the top 4. Napoli, Lazio, the Roma are really outside chances. I think Roma is probably the one that looks worst there, because they're still in Europe and are the furthest out as well, and probably also the ones that suffer the heaviest losses in terms of injury. However, as I said, there are still quite a few head-to-heads to go, and that can change the complexion very, very, very soon as well. And speaking of head-to-heads, we have one, not a direct head-to-head, but we have one direct head-to-head with Atalanta Juve, but we have Napoli against Inter, and it's such a shame, because usually this would be, I will put all my Napoli support behind them, but in this case I really need Inter to win this one, which of course they will not in this case. But Atalanta Juve is a pretty big one right there, because that could go setting one of those teams on Champions League. Milan has a rather difficult game against Genoa. That's a team that they always struggle a little bit against. When I look at the other top 4 contenders, we have Lazio against Benevento, will probably win. Torino, Roma, I think, is also not a foregone conclusion, especially since Torino still will definitely think they need the points. But pretty exciting stuff in Serie A. I did not expect that we will see everyone winning. I really thought that one of those will drop points. We will have someone dropping points next week, but it does not get easier, and especially when I think Milan, I would love Milan to have it wrapped up 2 games to go, because then you play against Juve, you play against Atalanta, and that is a pretty rough finishing stretch. You need to pick the points right now, and me being a Milan fan, that's what I am most concerned at this moment. I don't want to end the season at Atalanta and at Juve needing points. I just don't want to have that, literally. So let's hope one of these other teams, although I I wish almost to all of them to go in there because I have sympathies for most of them except for Inter. But my major allegiances lie with Milan. So there you go. In any case, give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to my channel. If you want to see more videos like these, please drop a comment below and tell me what you thought about the last week in Serie A and who do you think will finish top 4. And yeah, I will talk to you soon. Bye. Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, here are some videos and playlists that you might enjoy too. Also, please consider subscribing to my channel and clicking the little bell icon so that you get an update whenever something happens in my soccer universe. And with that, wish you a wonderful day. Bye!